Coming up on this Monday edition of Daybreak, the presidential office tries to ease public anxiety about the government's recently announced pension plan. But the discord enters a new phase as the welfare minister insists he will step down whether President Park wants him to or not. The National Assembly is set to normalise operations after a month of suspension. But issues like the latest welfare controversy and the opposition's unwavering demand to reform the spy agency are expected to put the brakes on parliamentary proceedings. Plus, the clock is ticking towards a possible federal government shutdown in the US this week as the Republican-strong House and the Democrat-led Senate wrangle over President Obama's controversial healthcare reforms. Daybreak begins now.
You're watching Daybreak on Monday, September 30th, and I'm Choi here in Seoul. We start with the latest turbulence surrounding the government's new pension plan. While the presidential office tried to reassure the public about the long-term benefits of the reduced pension on Sunday, the country's welfare minister has insisted he will step down as he does not support the plan. Our presidential office correspondent Oh Jin-ju reports.
Health and Welfare Minister Chin Young once again made it clear that he will not return to work despite President Park's decision to turn down his resignation last week. Chin offered to step down on Friday, taking responsibility for not being able to fulfill President Park's key welfare pledge on basic pension. On Sunday, Chin told reporters that he had opposed and is still against the idea of linking the new basic pension program with the national pension and had expressed his views to the presidential office of Cheongwade a number of times. Under the new basic pension plan unveiled last week, only the lower 70% income bracket of senior citizens aged 65 and above will receive up to 200,000 won, or about $186, falling short of President Park's original pledge to provide the maximum $186 to all Koreans in this age group. However, even for those in the bottom 70%, 10% of them will receive as little as $93 in accordance with how long they have contributed to the national pension system. Chin stressed that his resignation is a matter of conscience, as it wouldn't be possible to persuade the public nor the National Assembly as a minister if he himself doesn't agree with the new plan. Chin's decision is causing quite a stir, as critics say it shows President Park can't control one of her closest aides and struggles to resolve differences on key policies with related ministries. It could also make the public question the government's pension program altogether, with Chin, who was in charge of drawing up President Park's welfare pledges and other policy goals, has clearly expressed his opposition to the new system. Oh Jin-ju, Arirang News.
Lawmakers in Korea will get back to work today, ending a month-long period of inactivity due to a political tug-of-war over a number of issues. The parliament will hold the first plenary meeting of the regular session under the Park Geun-hye administration, but the divisions between the ruling and opposition parties run deep. Our Hwang Sung-hee has the details.
The ruling Saenuri and the main opposition Democratic parties are set to hold their first plenary session of the National Assembly on Monday in an attempt to normalize operations at the parliament that have been disrupted by a string of contentious issues. The lawmakers are way behind schedule as the current session opened at the start of September for a 100-day run. Starting Tuesday, lawmakers will hold emergency hearings over why the Park Geun-hye administration scaled back its pension program for senior citizens, as well as the resignation of the nation's top prosecutor over allegations of having a child out of wedlock. From October 14th to November 2nd, the National Assembly will carry out an audit of government offices. On November 11th, a full assembly session will be convened to listen in on the president's administrative speech on their budget plan for next year. From November 12th, lawmakers will have a 5-day interpellation session to question the government on a wide range of issues. Although the lawmakers have returned to work, the two parties remain wide apart on a number of key issues, like the scaled-back pension plan for senior citizens. The pension program was one of President Park's key campaign pledges, which called for giving a monthly allowance to all senior citizens aged 65 and above. However, the plan was revised in next year's budget proposal, excluding the wealthiest 30% of senior citizens. The opposition party accuses the president of making a false campaign promise, but the ruling party insists the move was inevitable due to a tight budget and that they have already apologized for the change in plan. 황상희, Arirang News.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel says it's still too early to decide on a possible delay of the wartime operational control transfer from Washington to Seoul. On his way to Seoul over the weekend, Hagel told reporters that he's constantly in touch with his South Korean counterparts about the changing defense environment on the Korean peninsula and threats from North Korea. Seoul has suggested the two allies postpone the 2015 transfer amid mounting threats from Pyongyang. Hagel then hinted he will continue talks on the upcoming transfer at the annual Security Consultative meeting on Wednesday in Seoul. And for the first time, the U.S. Defense Secretary, along with the U.S. Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff Martin Dempsey, will attend the ceremony marking Korea's Armed Forces Day on Tuesday. The Korean government plans to funnel millions of dollars into small and mid-sized companies to stimulate the sluggish labor market. It wants to create more jobs by encouraging SMEs to open up more part-time positions. Kim Min-ji has the details.
Korea's Ministry of Employment and Labor unveiled its plans Sunday to create 37,000 new jobs in small and medium-sized companies with fewer than 300 employees. The move comes after the ministry secured over 11.8 trillion won, or roughly $20 billion in budget for 2014, an increase of nearly 8% from this year. In a drive to create new jobs within SMEs with flexible working hours, the government will fund the social insurance fee, which the business owners are required to pay for 2 years, while also increasing labor cost support per employee. The ministry will set aside $9.3 million from the budget for the social insurance fee and increase labor cost support to about $21.5 million from the current $9.8 million. The ministry added that companies that cut back on long working hours and create new jobs will also be able to receive up to $185,000 in capital investment and support in labor costs. The Labor Ministry also plans to expand support to prevent women cutting their careers short. Companies will receive increased financial support when employing substitute workers to replace those in maternity leave, while some $650 million will be set aside for maternity leave and other childcare-related allowances. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Korea's biggest 600 companies are feeling more optimistic about the nation's economy. The Federation of Korean Industries says its business survey index for October broke through the 100 level for the first time in 6 months, reaching 101.1. A reading above 100 means firms with positive outlooks outnumber those that are pessimistic. The Federation says the rosier outlook for October stems from positive signals from the global economy and the government's active measures to boost the domestic housing market.
If you want the latest news from Korea and around the world.
Return to the negotiation.
President Park Geun-hye plans, given the current circumstances.
On your way to work or at home.
Defense Ministry. The legislature will convene a.
Tune into Daybreak on Arirang TV.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Tuesday. The U.S. government may face its first partial shutdown in nearly 20 years if lawmakers deeply divided over President Obama's health care law fail to reach an agreement on a new budget plan before midnight on Tuesday. The Republican-controlled House of Representatives passed a temporary budget plan early Sunday that includes a one-year delay of Obama's health care reform, more commonly known as Obamacare. The bill has to be approved by the Senate, but the Democrat-controlled Senate will likely reject it. The White House also said President Obama would veto the legislation if the House bill managed to pass the Senate. If lawmakers fail to reach a deal in time, a partial government shutdown will be unavoidable, with some 800,000 workers in non-essential government offices put on unpaid leave. A pilot free trade zone has opened in Shanghai in the latest step by the Chinese government to attract more foreign investment and to test the country's adaptation to a liberal market economy. In the zone, covering some 30 square kilometers, registered foreign and private companies are allowed to invest in 18 service industry sectors, including finance, law, and culture. 25 companies were given the first batch of licenses to be active in the test zone. China State Council announced in July its plan to operate the test free trade zone in Shanghai, China's commercial hub with a population of 20 million. Up to 50 students have been killed in a suspected Islamist gunman attack at a college in northeast Nigeria. Officials say the students, mostly young men, were shot dead as they slept in their dormitory at the College of Agriculture in Yobe State. The northeastern part of Nigeria has been under a state of emergency for over 5 months due to an Islamist insurgency by the Boko Haram group. Boko Haram, formed in 2002 and originally focused on opposing Western education, wants to overthrow Nigeria's government to create an Islamist state. Korea and Britain have been actively cooperating on bilateral healthcare development with a joint research hospital program launched earlier this year. The two countries hope to continue strengthening that cooperation ahead of President Park Geun-hye's state visit to Britain in November. Our Paul Lee reports.
Here at the London Health Forum just outside of Seoul earlier this month, Dr. Robert Winter from Cambridge University discussed new ways for healthcare organizations to work together. Dr. Winter is one of the many speakers who believe that the future of medicine in the UK and Korea lies in research-driven hospitals.
Evidence is available about the fact the widespread adoption and spread within a health system.
In Britain, major universities, the National Health Service, and other public health agencies have established strategic partnerships with hospitals. This relationship directly connects medical research with healthcare. Top British university officials say it's a natural link between institutions and the community.
We can't do everything all in one place. And so taking one community and saying, actually, I can now transfer this onto the next community. Actually, it's about building trust.
This past March, 10 research-driven hospitals were launched across Korea. In the wake of this forum, local health authorities here are in full support of future collaborative policies between the two countries.
If there is a certain area of cooperation, then there will be administrative support. If needed, the Korean government plans to provide R&D funding through financial support.
President Park Geun-hye is scheduled to make a state visit to Britain in early November, where she is expected to further expand bilateral cooperation in the health industry. Paul Yi, Arirang News.
Temperatures have been sharply falling across Korea as the country transitions into autumn. But many retail chains here, from major department stores to local supermarkets, are already in full on winter mode. Our Song Ji-sun reports.
Koreans across the nation are pulling their fall coats out of the closet as temperatures continue to drop and winter conditions pick up following the hot summer season. However, when looking at local retailers here in Seoul, it seems like autumn has already come and gone. Convenience stores have begun selling jinbang, or hot steamy buns filled with red bean paste, which is a tasty treat usually reserved for the cold winters in Korea.
Oh, I see that the steamed buns have come out. I guess summer is over now. It seems like winter's coming now that autumn's here. Better keep an eye out for the snow.
The trend has also been hitting appliance stores nationwide, as electric stoves and heaters have taken over market shelves.
A couple days ago, we and other similar branches started to pull our summer products from our displays for winter products. Since the weather is beginning to cool down, we expect that there will be a greater demand for winter products.
The nation's largest department store chains have opted to skip ahead and unveil their winter fashion lines. The early sales of thick jackets and parkas is a strategic move by retail outlets ahead of what is likely to be another long and icy winter season.
Since it was a little colder last year, it seems like consumers will tend to make their winter purchases a bit earlier this year.
Meteorologists forecast that winter-like temperatures will also come earlier this year, and stores are betting that their early bird marketing campaigns will pay off. 송지선, Arirang News.
And a good Monday morning to you all. Now, if you've been following up on the KBO, there were a couple of rainouts in the league, meaning the league had to extend their regular season to October 5th. Now, less than a week left in the regular season, and still things are as close as ever. But going into the Sunday night's KBO games, the SK Wyverns and the NC Dinos were rained out, but the Hanwha Eagles beat the Kia Tigers 14-10 in a slugfest. So with that said, let's take a look at the Tusan Bears and the Nexen Heroes at Mokdong. Of course, going into the game here, bottom of the first inning, here is Park Byung-ho at bat, and he drills this one to deep left field, number 34 on the season for the Nexen slugger, and it's 2-0 Nexen. Third inning of the game, here's Lee Jong-wook, an RBI single to right. Kim Jae-ho scores, and it's 2-1. Bottom of the inning, here's Park Byung-ho once again, and he drives this one to deep center field. There it goes, number 35 on the season, and his second home run of the night. And the Nexen Heroes now take a 5-1 lead. Fast forward to the seventh inning of the game, Nexen up 6-3. Park Byung-ho, can he do it? If it's fair, it's trouble. It is gone, number 3 on the night for Park Byung-ho. What a night for Park Byung-ho here, but next batter, Yoo Han-jun at bat, deep to left field, a 3-run shot here, and the Nexen Heroes all over the Tusan Bears. Now shift over to the ninth inning of the game, Oh Jae-won at bat, and he's gonna send this one to deep left field. Gone, a solo shot, but doesn't matter because the Nexen Heroes take this game 11-6. And next up, the LG Twins taking on the Samsung Lions. Big game, second inning, Kim Sang-soo with an RBI single to right, and it's 1-0 Samsung Lions. Fourth inning, LG Twins with the bases loaded. Park Yong-taek, a 2-run single to center, and LG takes the lead 2-1. Next batter, Oh Ji-hwan, RBI double to right field, and all of a sudden it's 3-1 LG Twins. We're not done yet. Next batter, Lee Byung-gyu at bat, a 2-run single up the middle, and LG takes a comfortable 5-1 lead after 4 innings. Next inning, here's Woo Dong-yeon of the Samsung Lions, 2-run double to right center field, and Samsung starts coming back, and it's 5-3. Sixth inning this time, Park Sung-min, infield single to second base. In comes Kim Sang-soo to score, and all of a sudden, it's now 5-4. But in the bottom of the inning, Lee Jin-young with a clutch 2-run single to center, and the LG Twins hang on and take this game 7-5 as they now trail Samsung by just a half game. And with that said, moving on to some Sunday's K-League Classic results. The Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors and the Suwon Samsung Blue Wings finished off in a quiet 0-0 draw, with Jeju United beating the Cheonnam Dragons 1-0 thanks to a 78th minute goal from Pedro. And after 30 rounds, Pohang sits in first place with 54 points. Jeonbuk at second with 53. Ulsan at 52 points, and FC Seoul with 50 points, with both Ulsan and FC Seoul 2 games on hand. And so with that said, staying with football, now that manager Hong Myung-bo is coaching the national team, the big question is, who's going to coach the Olympic team? Well, everyone expected another 2002 World Cup hero to step up in Hwang Sun-hong, but looks like that's not going to happen now. According to the Pohang Steelers, the 43-year-old head coach has signed an extension with the team and will stay put at Pohang. While the details of the contract has not been released just yet, manager Hwang stated that he has no interest in the Olympic team and just wants to focus on his club. Meanwhile, manager Hwang has been successful with the team since taking over in 2010 and even won the FA Cup last season. And now moving on to the ice and on to the 2013 Short Track World Cup in Shanghai. 16-year-old Shim Seok-hee won the 3,000-meter women's relay, earning her third gold medal on the tournament. Now, earlier on, Shim Seok-hee also finished first during the 1,000-meter and the 1,500-meter race, quickly becoming Korea's top skater before the upcoming Winter Games in Sochi. And moving on, here's a sport that's gaining a lot of popularity these days, sports climbing. That's right, and all thanks to Kim Jae-in, who's been dominating in the World Cup events. In fact, over the weekend, the 25-year-old won her second straight World Cup event, this time over in Russia. All right, finishing things off at the Berlin Marathon, a new world record was set in the event as Wilson Kipsang of Kenya broke fellow Kenyans' record on Sunday. 31-year-old Wilson Kipsang finished the 26.2-mile run in 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 23 seconds, beating the old record by 15 seconds. Now, Patrick Macau set the previous record 2 years ago, had to pull out due to a knee injury before the start of the race, while Florence Kiplagat of Kenya won the women's race, her second victory in 3 years. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Good morning. I'm Lee Ji-hyun with your latest weather forecast. Well, I hope gloomy weather condition didn't wreck your weekend. It wasn't raining that much in most regions, but sky remained gray throughout the weekend. And we're starting the last day of September, which is today, under partly to mostly cloudy skies with leftover showers, but it should all gradually clear out as we go into the afternoon. That hopefully we'll get to have a glimpse of sunshine later in the day. Well, right now, more clouds are covering up the western parts of the nation, dropping light to heavy showers at time this morning. So if you're in these areas such as Busan and Jeju, make sure to have some umbrella handy for the day. Now, tomorrow looks to be mostly to partly cloudy with the low around mid to upper teens, and expect afternoon highs rising in the mid-20s. And tomorrow should be the warmest day of this week because we have another round of rain in the forecast on Wednesday, which will add the chill to the air for the rest of the week. While morning lows and afternoon highs are a tad higher than yesterday, and here are the readings for today. It looks like the weather conditions for morning hours will be different from regions to regions, but the daytime high in Seoul will rise to 24 degrees Celsius, that's 75 degrees in Fahrenheit, and the afternoon highs in Daegu, Gwangju, and Busan will be in the mid-20s. Now let's see how other regions are looking. It looks like Jeju and Daejeon will have similar afternoon highs, while chilly weather is on tap for Mount Kumgang today. Now that's all for Korea, and here's the global forecast for viewers around the world. That's all for me at this hour. Enjoy your morning commute and hope you have a wonderful Monday.
And that's it for this Monday edition of Daybreak. Thank you for watching.